Hi guys, 18 Dapper here, and unfortunately, Rovers season is over, but that means that we get the chance to do my season review and also the reaction to my pre-season predictions. Let's get this video started. So we will make a start on the season review, but before we get into that, I just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you who has subscribed and supported this season. Support me through likes, shares, comments. It has been a fantastic journey this season. I'm looking forward to the same again next season. So just to kind of illustrate how well the channel's done, when I uploaded the season review for the 2017-18 season, 300 subscribers, and then recently took a screenshot just after the Charlton vlog, 1,235. So a big thank you to each and every one of you who has subscribed. It does mean a lot. So my 2018-19 season expectations. I did a season preview where I mentioned Fergie leaving. I thought that this was going to create a lot of upheaval in the club, and I was expecting a tough season where we'd be battling in and around the bottom end of the table. So new manager Grant McCann, I thought with a new gaffer coming in, there's a new style of play, there's a new philosophy. It does take a little while for players to adjust to that, so I was expecting more of a transitional season this season under Grant McCann. Like I said, it was kind of either battling near the bottom or ultimately ending in mid-table mediocrity like we did the season before. Now, 2018-19 season reality was very different. Grant McCann, he brought a great style of play, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching Donny all season. There's been a couple of games, one that stands out, Luton away, Fleetwood at home, some heavy defeats, but I think under McCann we're going to get that. We've got an attacking style of play, so it does leave us open a little bit at the back, but we're getting more consistent at the back. We're getting a lot more solid, but there is the odd occasion where we do get found out. But the players have looked like they're playing with freedom, and they've also looked like they've enjoyed playing for Grant as well this season, which is nice to see. Also, an FA Cup run. I can't remember an FA Cup run as good as the one this season, reaching the 5th round and getting knocked out by Crystal Palace, who are a good Premiership team. So no grumbles with that, to be honest. And for me, we have defied the odds all season. We've been tipped for relegation, and then we've finished in the playoffs, finished 6th and done pretty well. And we've also taken Charlton all the way in their backyard last Friday. Felt we should have come out with the win, but penalties are penalties. It's a lottery. The playoffs are a lottery. I thought we played very well on that Friday night and showed the world what we could do on Sky. And on our day, we could beat anybody in this league, which has been very nice to watch. Moving on to my key players for the season, or who I think are the key players throughout the 18-19 season. I'm going to start at the back with Andy Butler. What can we say about Butler apart from his ever present? He puts his body on the line. He's one of those defenders where he'll never be a ball playing defender where he's good with his feet, a bit like Matty Bowdry used to be. But what you do get with Butler is a bit of security, and you know what you're going to get. Somebody who is willing to put everything on the line to keep that clean sheet, and he's done well this season. Hopefully, he's been offered another contract. Hopefully that gets signed and we get to keep him, because for League One, I think he is a very good defender. Moving to the middle of the park, I'm going to start with Ben Whiteman. So he was the player of the season, I think players player of the season in the end of seasons awards, and for me he deserves that, definitely 100%. He does the difficult stuff in the middle of the park, breaks up play, protects the defence really well. Ben suffered an injury partway through the season, and without him, we just looked so light in the midfield. We weren't breaking play down as much. We weren't finding them outlets. I think he is one of the unsung heroes in terms of what he does in the middle of the park. Hopefully, he stays next season. Staying in the middle, none other than Cops. What an absolute legend this guy is. Just keeps on getting better and better every season. He's got the second most assists in League One this season at 38 years old. It's just unreal. I don't know how he does it. And for Rovers, it creates so much and adds a little bit of flair in the midfield as well. I'm just totally in awe of James Coppinger. What an absolute baller he is. 620, 630 appearances. Never see anything like it again. And when this guy does eventually retire, which I hope he never does, I think the number 26 shirt needs to retire with him and a statue, something like that. And the final key player, moving up front, it's a bit like Marmite. Some people love him, some people hate him. I love him. John Marquis, what a hard-working forward he is. Puts so much effort in each game, and I think that's overlooked sometimes with some supporters, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. Top scorer, 26 goals. While ever he's banging them sort of numbers in, he's all right in my book. I think he's still got a bit more to give. There is a lot of times where he does miss opportunities that you think he should deal with. Wears his heart on his sleeve. If he's not playing well, everybody in the ground can see that he is frustrated with himself. But hopefully he's at Donny next season. He's under contract, so if somebody wants him, they're going to have to put a decent amount of cash down. I don't think Grant will want to let him go. And hopefully John wants to stay as well and help us get one better next season. Moving on to the 2018-19 key signing for me, it's got to be this boy Malik Wilks. He's got bags of talent, absolute bags and bags of talent and potential. I think he's brought a certain arrogance to Donny that we've lacked in such a long time. I think the last time we had a player with kind of that overconfident / arrogant attitude, probably McIndo. So that shows how long I think it's been since we've had a player like this, and I've enjoyed watching it. I really have. The way that he's got opposition fans and opposition players just really riled up, and that's where they start making mistakes. And I think we need another player similar to that next season, because I can't see Malik coming back from Leeds. We will see though. Leeds still in the Championship. They might have a couple of other ideas in terms of the formation that they're playing, and Malik might be surplus to requirements once again, potentially put out on loan. I'd love to see him back in a Rovers shirt next season. Moving on to the goal of the season, for me, it was a close one. There was that Ali Crawford, the 1-2 off the free kick. That was a fantastic goal into the top corner. But for me, this one, Kieran Sadlier against Bristol Rovers, just nicked it just after half time. I haven't got access to any of the footage anymore. I'm not allowed to show it on this channel, but I will put a link to the video that the highlights in the top corner. Hopefully I can do that. The goal is just after half time. It's definitely worth a watch. And if you've been watching this season, you guys will know that I've been doing fans' thoughts this season. All visiting supporters, I've had a chat with them, and I've really enjoyed the social aspect of vlogging. I've had really positive feedback off of home and away supporters, so hopefully continue that segment on if you guys want it in the comments down below if you do. But for me, I'm going to do a fans thought of the season, and for me it's this gent, Bristol Rovers once again. Old guy, he just had tons and tons of stories from supporting his club. You could see that passion ran deep inside him, and I really enjoyed the conversation with him. Hopefully see him again next season and have another chat, because I could have stayed there for a long while chatting to him, getting some stories about where he's been and what he's done. I will link the match day vlog in the top corner as well if you want to go and watch that and hear the guys' thoughts on the night. So at the start of the season, I did a prediction in terms of where I thought teams were going to finish in the table. So let's have a look back at really how bad they were. So we'll start with the bottom half. I got 1 out of 3 right. That's not too bad, but there's so many teams that I've just misjudged massively, both in terms of putting them a lot lower than I thought, well, a lot lower than they finally finished, and then also thinking that they were going to finish a lot higher than they actually did. So we'll start with the bottom 4. I went with Accrington Stanley rock bottom, AFC Wimbledon in 23rd, Walsall in 22nd, and Wycombe in 21st. Accrington did well, 10 places higher than I predicted. Solid season, I think should be a solid season again next. Wimbledon, just avoiding relegation. I think it went down to the final day, so they finished 20th. I wasn't too far off with that one. I'm not too fussed with that prediction. I thought within 3 or 4, I'm quite happy with. Anything over that, need to do better. Walsall, I was on the money. I thought that Otzuma's departure would have an impact on their kind of outlet and their attacking flair, and I don't know if it did. I don't know if that's the only reason why they finished in the bottom 4, but got that one on the money. And then Wycombe, I went with Wycombe due to them just coming up. I didn't think that there'd be a team with the resources to stay in the league, but proved me wrong. Finished in a very creditable 17th place. And on to the rest of the bottom half of the league. I went with Rochdale in 20th, Gillingham 19th, Coventry 18th, Oxford 17th. I went with my team in 16th, Southend in 15th, Bristol Rovers in 14th, and Fleetwood in 13th. As you can see, wasn't very good on this either. Rochdale not too far off, only 4 positions out, but then Gillingham, they finished 6 places higher in 13th. Coventry, very good season, first season back in League One, finishing 10 places higher than I predicted. They finished in 8th, and it looked like they were going to be pushing for the playoffs until the final day. Oxford, not too far off with that one, only 5 places, finishing in 12th. Quite happy that I got this one so wrong, saying that Donny would finish in 16th, and we actually finished in the playoff places in 6th. So very, very good season for us. For me, exceeded my expectations, which very happy with. Hopefully we exceed them again next season. Southend had not such a successful season in terms of where I thought they'd finish, 4 places lower in 19th, and was struggling until the final few games. Bristol Rovers, only 1 place off on those, so quite happy with that prediction. And then Fleetwood, only 2 places away on that prediction too. They finished in 11th. On to the top half of the table. So there was a lot of teams who finished higher in the bottom half. So I'm going to just predict it upside down next season, and I'll be a lot closer. So Luton, one of my worst predictions this season. I expected them to have a solid season, first season back in League One, but I think they smashed it out of the water in terms of anybody's prediction. I don't think anybody would have put them at top of the table at the end. But congratulations, Luton, and good luck in the Championship next season. Very close with Blackpool as well. Put them 11th, and they finished 1 space higher in 10th. And then I went Peterborough in 10th, Scunthorpe in 9th, Shrewsbury in 8th, Plymouth in 7th. Peterborough did better than I predicted. They finished 3 places higher in 7th. As I say, 3 or 4 places. I think I'm pretty close. It is a very tight league. But Scunthorpe and Plymouth, 2 of the teams who unfortunately got relegated, so they'll be playing League 2 football next year. 14 places lower down than I predicted. And then Shrewsbury just avoiding the drop in 18th. 10 places lower than I predicted. On to the top 6, I went with Bradford, just making it into the top 6. Burton, expected them to have a good season after they'd just come down from the Championship. Portsmouth, huge club in League One. There's no two ways about it. I had them in fourth, and Barnsley, I had them in third, just missing out on the top two. Now, the worst prediction I had this season was Bradford. Had them in the playoffs, and they've just had an absolute torrid season. I hope they recover, but they finished rock bottom, playing League Two football next season. As I say, I hope they recover and get back up next year. Burton, I think they'll be disappointed with this season after just coming down. They finished in ninth, a little way away from the playoffs, but I think with a few additions, they'll be knocking on the door next season. Portsmouth, it was the second prediction that I got on the nose. Had them in fourth. They finished in fourth. Unfortunately, they didn't get through to the final, just like Donny. So we will be playing them again next season. And then Barnsley, a very good season back in League One. An immediate return into the Championship. They finished in second, so good luck to Barnsley in the Championship next year. And on to the top two, I went with what is actually the playoff final. Charlton in second, Sunderland in first. It could be either one of these going up. I'm videoing this before the playoff weekend. Good luck to both teams. Whoever goes up, all the best in the Championship. Whoever stays down, I think Rovers have got a score to settle with them next season. Charlton knocked us out in the playoffs. I think we deserve to go through, but we just weren't good enough on the penalty shootout. And Sunderland, I think the two games over the season, we underperformed in those. So hopefully, if they stay down, we can show them what we can really do. But those two final positions, Charlton finished in third, Sunderland 4 places lower than I predicted, in fourth. So overall, I wasn't very close. So what I've done to try and look at it next year and see if I improve in my predictions, I've got a couple of results. So correct predictions, I got 2 out of 24, spot on. Predictions out by 4, I've got 12 out of 24, and then predictions out by 5 or more places, 10 out of 24. And what I've done with that is for each place away from what I predicted, I've given it 1 point to give me a total points or final score of 140. So the aim next season is to get below 140, and then I'm closer to the league predictions. We will see. And that is the season review and predictions reaction all done and dusted. I'm looking forward to next season. So all that's left for me to do is say thank you once again. If you've enjoyed this, stick a big thumbs up on it for me, please. Comment in the section down below, as you always do. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because I'm looking forward to making content for you next season. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.